It's your boy DMA with my last God of War Ragnarok No Upgrade Run Challenge video. With my previous videos, I would normally explain the rules of my No Upgrade Run, but I won't take up much time with that. If you want to read the challenge rules of my run, I'll have it posted in the description. But I will say that my rules differ from a level 1 challenge, and this challenge does have significant restrictions compared to level 1 runs. Gna has 3 phases that are based on her health. Her first phase is 100 to 80% health, the second is 80 to 50%, and her final phase is half health and below. In each of her phases, she has different sets of attacks, and I'll go over the critical ones. With all of my Ragnarok videos, I lay out every single attack and how I deal with them, but the rough draft of my script came out to 5 pages. I have roughly 22 minutes of video to work with, so I've decided to not talk about every single attack, but instead highlight the attacks and behaviors that break the illusion of Gna being so random, as well as the changes in her attacks in Phase 2 and 3, since those are the significant changes. I'll start off by repeating what I said in my King Wolf video. If you're looking for a guide to help you beat Gna, this video may not be for you. But, as I just said, I will break down each of her significant attacks and each of her 3 phases so you are better equipped to handle her offense. There are strict evasive timing windows and visual cues that you will need to pay extra attention to, but if there's one thing you should take away from this video, just one thing, let it be this: do not strafe to the left. It sounds like a silly adjustment to gameplay habits, but this will significantly reduce the likelihood of you receiving that out-of-the-blue right-wing stab that is so difficult to read. It's sudden, and sidestepping or rolling to the left is so difficult to do with a right-wing stab, I've never successfully pulled it off. And as far as I know, it's not possible to evade to Kratos' left when Gna launches at you with a right-wing stab. There are other instances where her right-wing stabs are predictable and can actually be easily evaded, but I'll go through those as we talk about her attacks. But I'll repeat this critical takeaway one more time. Do not strafe to Kratos' left. If you have to strafe, always do so to the right. Oh, and pro tip: blocking attacks is generally a good idea. I was trying to quickly adjust my glasses with my left hand since my right hand was busy dishing out the business. That's what she said. That didn't work out, so to take a hit on one of Gna's easiest attacks to deal with, that was slightly annoying. Normally, I don't bother using my Resurrection Stone in the first phase of the fight, since it's best used when her offense opens up drastically. But she was close to her second phase that I decided to use it, so I could use this time to possibly experiment with random ideas. Thankfully, it worked out, so instead of viewing this as an unnecessary use of a Berserker Stone, I prefer to view this as going ahead and using it when it did matter. The real challenge is ahead. Now that the video is well into Phase 2, let's review Gna's baseline Phase 1, shall we? First, let's talk about the projectiles. She has several, and 2 of them look very similar in animation, while the third projectile pops up suddenly and needs quick evasion. She has a curved feather projectile that can be blocked, but she also has a red attack, a feather projectile that is sent directly at you. With these feather projectiles, she can send a singular projectile attack, or she can do back-to-back projectile attacks. The back-to-back projectile is where you have to pay extra attention to what you're going to be dealing with, since she can send any combination of the 2 projectiles at you. With the direct red projectile, you obviously have to evade it. But if you evade it and muscle memory takes over, or you're trying to get ahead, sidestepping or rolling from the curved projectile will kill you. Unfortunately, this is one of those attacks that needs to be practice evading. Hopefully, it takes you less time to grasp it than it took me. For the third projectile, she will do a short leap back and quickly send over her shurikens. It's annoyingly sudden because by the time she sends the shurikens off, the red ring signal animation will have just started, and by the time you register the cue, it would have been too late. Always expect that attack to be around the corner and keep an eye for that quick leap. A well-timed sidestep will keep you safe, and you can safely expect her to remain open to attacks for a couple of seconds, allowing for a Chaos Slam if you are quick enough to capitalize from afar. And speaking of her shurikens, she can form an elemental shuriken tutu. The longer it remains orbiting around Gna, the further out it extends. This attack is why I prefer to use the Blades of Chaos, because I can run up to her, swing the blades around to knock the shurikens away, and not have to deal with the expansion of the tutu's radius. You just gotta get close enough and swipe them away, and you're good to go. But if you're too far away to swipe the tutu off, Freya's arrows is an excellent secondary option. The reason I don't spam Freya's arrows is because of the tutu. When Gna sets her tutu up, you can spam Freya's arrows to hopefully connect with the shurikens and knock them away. It's not as reliable as using the Blades of Chaos, but it's a backup plan. To maximize your success with the arrow method, it's best to spam her arrows immediately when the tutu forms. When the orbit gets too large, it becomes almost impossible to connect arrows with the shurikens. At that point, you're better off spamming the light attack and hope Kratos' flailing will connect while you keep an eye on Gna's attack. It's the classic flail and pray method a lot of us gamers tend to overly rely on. Consider it a tertiary plan. And the deadly two-wing swipes combo. I don't know if the swipes can be parried, I haven't seen it done, but they can be blocked despite my earlier efforts. After the swipes, she will follow it up with one of two attacks, either the twirl or a red attack spear slash. The red slash is easy enough to avoid with the roll. You could block the twirl attack, but if you do, Gna will retreat and follow up with another attack. Most likely the right wing stab, but she can opt for her various projectiles. The shurikens, the curved feathers, or the direct feathers. Since there are tons of variables involved with her follow-up, I prefer to retreat back while she does her twirl and charge up a scorched sweep and use that. It's safe and it's predictable, and she's open to taking the sweep. But if you're backed up against the wall and can't safely add distance to her twirl, be prepared to properly evade. Gna has several red ring attacks, but I want to highlight 3 of those for this video. The 4 beam, pillars, and the possible follow-ups to that attack, and her 2 attacks that can be countered by Freya's arrows. Alright, the 4 energy beam pillars attack. First off, avoid the beam pillars, that's a pretty good idea, but it will be followed by her strafe, and she will strafe left or right. If she strafes to Kratos' left, she'll do one of 2 attacks. The red quick shuriken toss, or her 2 wing swipes and twirl. If Gna strafes to Kratos' right, she'll do the quick right wing stab. Understanding how the energy beam workflow functions is, with the exception of understanding that Kratos should never strafe to his left, understanding the energy beam thing and knowing what to expect from her strafing behavior is one of the most important details about this fight, because it feels like it's all random, but when you take a moment to understand this particular setup, it's very predictable and easy to adjust accordingly. Now, Freya probably has a more meaningful influence in this fight than any other fights with her arrows. Her sonic arrows will stun Gna's aerial attack, I call it her spirit bomb attack, and sigil arrows will stun her flame attack, adding significantly to her fire status, but not enough to initiate fire status. A chaos slam and a quick scorch sweep will ignite her fire status. When I hear her bathe in fire cue, I start running towards her and time the sigil arrow as close to her as possible. That way, I'm primed for the Chaos Slam and can quickly start up a Scorch Sweep to get that fire status up. Keep in mind, the fire status does almost no damage, but it does help keep Gna's stun meter from recovering completely for certain situations, like when you need to use a Resurrection Stone or during her pounces. You will know when the second phase is taking place because 90% of the time she starts the theatrical-looking large area of effect attack. When the ground turns red, she'll bash Gna out of the attack. Simple enough. Along with the area of effect attack, Gna also has a new pounce attack. It's very sudden, and getting the timing on it can be tricky at first. Thankfully, the red ring signal paired with her verbal for Asgard cue makes it easy-ish to time. Asgard is a two-syllable word. When you hear as, you can do a sidestep and avoid the pounce. She can do 3 back-to-back pounces, and it's fairly rhythmic. When you get the feel of it, it becomes easy to work that into muscle memory. The trick is getting it started, since most of her annoying attacks is very sudden. If she completes her 3-pound cycle, she'll stay in her hero pose for a moment, opening her up for a full heavy combo. Take the moment to deliver offense at that moment without any stress. Now, if she doesn't complete her full pound cycle, she'll retreat back and start something else up. Wait for her to start her new attacks, and don't chase after her. If you're running after her and she decides to launch into her red dash, you dead. And along with these 2 new attacks, her attacks and combos have new variances. So there are so many new things to keep in mind, it's kind of overwhelming. In Gna's first phase, she has an aerial 2-kick combo. It's easy to parry the first kick, but the second kick is always a red ring attack that needs to be evaded. The aerial attack is still here for the second phase, but she can either start her kick with the normal kick, the one that can be parried, or she can start with the red kick. When you see the red ring, roll away. Don't allow the visual of her getting set up for an aerial kick ready as a moment to parry. It's such a subtle change, but very meaningful to make Gna such a beast of a boss fighter. I've toyed with the idea of just rolling when I see her setting herself up for an aerial kick in the second phase, but I ended up training my reflexes to not do that and parry when it was appropriate and rolling away when I needed to. It definitely took a minute to work on, but I made it work. And she also has the option to do a follow-up to her kick, be it the normal kick, the red kick, or the 2-kick combo. She can follow those up with the yellow twirling spear slam. I always enjoy seeing that because these are pretty easy attacks to parry and add to a stun meter. So keep an eye out for that little expansion. Also, in her first phase, Gna has a single red ring dash attack that needs to be rolled away from. Her red dash has a follow-up now. She can do back-to-back red dashes, or she can launch her area of effect attack, or, and this is the sequence that always trips me up, she could retreat, quickly dash in for the vertical twirl, retreat again, and come back with the right wing step. What you want to do after her first red dash is hold the block button. If she does her area of effect attack or second red dash attack, you have time to react, but the vertical twirl has to be blocked. And if you're blocking her twirl, she's following it up with a right wing stab, and you'll be sidestepping to which side? That's right. Yeah, we're learning and we're having fun, right? Yeah, we're going to go to the right. Now, her shuriken combos that ends with a shuriken toss has the option to complete her combo with the slow, heavy shuriken swipe. Normally, after I sidestep the shuriken toss, I start up my light combos, and by the second hit, I'll have already gained visuals on whether or not she decides to complete her combo, and I parry her last attack in the middle of my own combo. As for her shuriken tutu, once she launches it, she'll do her yellow dash attack. It can be difficult to manage that situation since I like to get up front and use the Blades of Chaos to knock the tutu out. But you'll be up front and need to time your parry just right. The good news is, it's predictable, and you should always expect her yellow dash after the tutu summon. So knock the shuriken down, take a short moment, and prepare for the yellow dash. But if you have Freya's arrows and you're able to knock them out, whatever element the shuriken has on them, it'll spill onto Gna and effectively reset her, preventing her from doing her dash attack. When Gna does her standing twirl, she can immediately launch into the pounce attack, so keep an eye out for that. Now, wrapping up her phase 2 section, her 2 spear slash into the yellow spinning attack can be cut short into a 1 spear slash into the yellow spinning attack. The expectation of the 2 slashes, again, is a subtle change but messes with the player who, prior to this phase in this fight, has been conditioned to expect the 2 slash combo before preparing for the spinning attack. For her 3rd phase, the good news is that she doesn't add a whole lot. The bad news is the pounce has a 2nd version now. The timing of the first evasion is the same, but instead of a pounce, there's a beam that gets shot down, followed by Gna's pounce. The timing for her pounce is different in this version, so I wait a touch longer after the beam and do a full roll to evade Gna, followed almost immediately by a sidestep for the beam again, and you repeat as needed. This new pounce does behave similar to her first pounce in that if she completes her 3 pounce cycle, she's open to damage. But if she cuts it short, she'll retreat and follow up with another attack, either the feather projectiles or one of her dashes. Also, just because we have this new pounce to deal with doesn't mean she won't do the old pounce. Be prepared to evade appropriately. So this guide is meant to help answer the question, what might she do now? It does seem like she has this super fluid combat that can't be predicted, but learning her attacks and knowing which attacks are likely to follow up might be a tall task to take up because there are so many different directions Gna can take. But knowing what she's doing in the moment will help you know what your options are when her animation is completed. It does seem like she's random, but this guide is here to help you understand what she is capable of. Like when she strafes to Kratos' left, stops, and launches her red shuriken projectiles. That's it. She's open. She won't immediately connect the end of that animation into her pounces or the right wing stab or anything else. But if she does strafe to Kratos' left and goes into her 2-wing slash combo, she has options. She could end up with the red spear attack or the right wing stab or the standing twirl. And if she does do the twirl, she could immediately follow it up with either pounces. Will she do all 3 pounces? Or will she cut the pounces short, retreat, and launch straight into a yellow dash attack? Knowing what she's doing at the moment will inform you what she might be doing. But, more importantly, what she's not going to be doing. And when you understand her flow, she doesn't feel as random or unpredictable as you think she is. She's predictable. We just need to work on our timing and evasion methods. And allow me to pitch one last trick. Surprisingly, I didn't see a lot of these level 1 challenge videos do. I highly recommend using the lock-on function. Personally, I find that using lock-on does a lot of the work to manage and keep track of Gna's movement, because she likes to jump around and strafe. A lot. You'll be doing a lot of sidestepping and rolling and could risk losing sight of her. You'll need to set it back up after her pounces, but I find that it's worth the effort. And with that, that does it for my actual true no upgrade run. The menu rundown showed the lack of upgrades, no skills, no tokens, no accessories, no amulets, no nothing. Just the absolute minimum the game will allow, in the hopes that this video may educate you on Gna's movements to better understand her attacks and behaviors. Hope you've enjoyed this video and the other Berserker videos. This will be my last God of War Ragnarok video, and I hope you'll join me in the next video game challenge I decide on. So with that, we'll see ya.